Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. It's another paid request. This time for Johnny. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Johnny wanted me to do a commentary on the 1982 film Creepshow. Sorry about that. Let's get to it. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. So right off the bat, we're starting off with Tom Atkins yelling at his son about that comet shit, horror shit. Now the son is Joe Keane, the son of Stephen Keane, which he would go on to write his own stories. And the dad there is Tom Atkins, playing a real mean sumbitch. Tom Atkins, of course, he was in Night of the Creeps. He was in John Carpenter's The Fog. He would be in the first Lethal Weapon film. Some My Blade Valentine remake and a few of those movies. Yeah, but yeah, playing a real mean sumbitch on this who gets his comeuppance later on. Throwing away the Creepshow. Which, of course, the whole anthology is all big inspiration from EC Comics, bit of Tales from the Crypt, among other stuff. And I think for many people it's the prime example of a horror anthology film. You got George Romero, you have one director, you have a consistent vision. There's a lot, not all, but sometimes you have different directors do different stories, like that anthology I rewatched recently, Holidays, whereas they did different directors, so each story has their own style, but there's no symmetry to it all. While here there is a certain symmetry to the color scheme, the way certain things are looked at aesthetically, and I did a good cast. I mean, you got just Tom Atkins in this one, you got Ed Harris, you got Hal Holbrook. Now, Tom Savini did the effects work on this. And I think this was supposed to be used more, but then that's why they did the animation, because they couldn't do as much as they thought they could. But the animation works well. It looks better than the animation in Creepshow 2, and easily 10 times better than anything in Creepshow 3. It has a great score, that creepy da 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 da. I mean, you look at the opening credits and you see what kind of color scheme and aesthetic this is going to have, which is part of the fun of this. And then the score really works well. Came out, I want to say it came out and took the #1 spot from First Blood. And 1982, you had a lot of stuff from Blade Runner to John Carpenter's The Thing to Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan to Tron to this movie to Conan the Barbarian. Mentioned, First Blood. A lot of stuff coming out of that time period. And it's looked at as one of the great impetus years of the genre. Horror, fantasy, sci-fi, that type of stuff. And George Romero, honestly, it's one of the few films he had that was a hit outside of his like Dawn of the Dead type of stuff, because I like Monkey Shines, but I don't know if that did any business. I don't mind The Dark Half, but that didn't do any business. So we have Ed Harris here, and I believe one of these... Oh, dear. This is the Father's Day segment, which great is better than the Father's Day segment in Holidays, because that's the new That's an anthology I just rewatched. It was a paid request. But it's tough to do an anthology film because you gotta hopefully have more good than bad. Does the bad outweigh the good? Does the good overshadow the bad? If there's three good but two bad, is that a good movie or part of a good movie? I mean, this is easy. I love these comic book panels. I love that aesthetic a lot better than when Walter Hill tried to do this in the Warriors director's cut, whatever the fuck that was. Like this fits much more in the scheme of things. We've established that with the comic book at the beginning, and like here, 7 years earlier, that EC Comics feel. Maybe some people are like, what the hell's going on? Why is it streamed like that? But it brings a different, unique aesthetic feel to it, so it stands on its own 2 feet. And crazy to have a very young Ed Harris in this. I forget where, but was it on the documentary? Because I'm watching this on the 2-disc DVD. This is a gift someone sent to me a long time ago. I don't know if the person who sent this still watches the channel, but if you are, I still have this, and I thank you for it. It's a very nice gift from overseas, and the Blu-ray here does play region-free Blu-rays, or DVDs, I should say. Well, Blu-rays as well, but DVDs, perfectly fine. Region 2 DVDs. And there's a second disc, and it has the documentary Just Desserts, the making of Creepshow, which I do have on its own, because on its own there are a few more features, including the Tom Savini 1 hour, like back in the day, like one of those VHS tapes I remember watching quite a few times back in the day. I have to remember where the hell I put that though. I think I know where it's at over there. But really good documentary though, pretty in depth. A lot of people interviewed for it. But I was never a fan of this segment. I'll get to anthologies in a minute, but I was never a fan of this segment. It just, the other ones I enjoy more. This one, like, other than the payoff with the way the corpse looks and some pretty decent makeup effects on that, I don't know, the story never did anything for me. Ed Harris, like I said, it's interesting to see a very young Ed Harris who would work with George Romero and Night Riders, which I can't remember if that was before or after this. Can't remember. And of course, would go on to be a big star. He was in The Abyss. He was in Michael Bay's film The Rock. A lot of stuff. Ed Harris. Become a much bigger star after this. Was it Apollo 13? And here, I mean, he's pretty much just playing some guy that watches a headstone fall for like 7 minutes and he doesn't move or do anything. I'm like, just move, goddammit, move. What are you doing? Of course, that's the father that wants his cake. He's able to get his cake back by the end of it after killing a few motherfuckers. I don't like the other stories. The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. It was fun to see Stephen King act and the kind of quirky humor of that all. Something to tide you over. Leslie Nielsen is a hateful sumbitch, but very fun to watch. The Crate, to be easily the best one. And the Creeping Up on You is definitely one of the creeper ones, with the cockroaches just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I think also because this is such an awful, hateful person that he gets everything that's coming to him. So I don't really care for him getting his revenge on these people. And I think there's really nobody likable in this Like, he's being a piece of shit. You know, she murdered the guy. Like I said, there's some nice visuals, like color scheme, like the way that was shot there. I do appreciate that. But I don't know, just one of those segments that it's not god awful or anything. It's better than anything in Creepshow 3. But it just, but at the same time, it's the first story, so I'm like, okay, I let it go, and I'm like, it gets better. Again, I think the last two would be my favorites, the Trait and the Creeping Up on You. I think are the two best ones. So to me, it ends on a very strong note. And horror anthologies, I mean, well, I think of them throughout the years. I do like Cat's Eye quite a bit. Tales from the Hood I do like. I don't mind Creepshow 2, but not nearly as good as this one. Trick or Treat is a good one. I would say if you had a top 5 horror anthologies, this would be number 1, Creepshow. Like I said, Trick or Treat would be in there. Cat's Eye, I think, is underrated. That would have to be in there somewhere. Tales from the Hood, definitely. I have to think about like what would be the last one to put in there. I know there's some out there people mention. But there's a lot of bad anthologies as well. I mean, VHS 2 I like, but the other VHS ones I'm not a fan of. The worst one was it Veronica? Or the Treasure Chest of Horrors that had the guy, the YouTuber Cool in one of them. That might be the worst one. That and Veronica. Some of the worst ones I saw. I admit that's a really cool looking design. That screams EC Comics. The worm and the eyeball looking like a Lucio Fulci poster. In a way, she gets murdered, but she kind of gets the less gory murder. I mean, she's the first. Well, she had to give you your cake if you kill her. Here we get Ed Harris dancing. Reminds me of Crispin Glover in Friday the 13th Part 4. I don't know what the hell these dance moves are. Trust me, white people don't all dance like this. Maybe they do, but no. Makes us white people look bad with this dancing. That's why he gets killed off. He gets killed off for his shitty dancing. And what the fuck is that about? I think it's John Amplas as the creature, the corpse. Like in the suit. And he was the guy who was Martin in George Romero's film, the lead. He worked with him in quite a few movies and bit roles. He had a bit role in Dawn of the Dead, among others. He was the star Martin. Yeah, this elongated scene where it's just him wandering around, and he's at the bottom of fucking gravesite, and then takes forever for this thing to slowly go towards him, and he doesn't move, doesn't get up, doesn't roll out of the way, just is there for the thing to land on him. I would say the corpse looked cool. It's nice to see Ed Harris in a much early role, younger role, and some of the color scheme is nice to see the blue here. Like I said, it's a very colorful movie. Very neon-centered movie. Pulp feel to it. But definitely, again, sets it apart from all the other horror anthology films. Which I can't remember the last one that was like a big theatrical release. I'm not talking about something that just went straight to video. Like there's ones that were like Holidays I thought sucked. Tales of Halloween wasn't big on. Again, there's like one or two stories I didn't mind, but as a whole, not so much. What was the Chillerama? I wasn't big on. Like I said, there's a lot more. It feels like there's a lot more bad than good ones out there. At least to me personally. Toy Story going to be starring Creepshow 3, where every segment is absolutely awful, from a girl turned to a fucking bunny rabbit to a guy dying because he choked on a hot dog that a guy gave him that was dirty on purpose. So the guy chokes and comes back his haunted cell with a haunted hot dog. So he falls here. Now, right then move. Move. Roll away, move. Roll, move. You move. Still hasn't moved. Still hasn't moved. Finds his dead ants. Not moving still. Like, move! Maybe that's the whole point, is to get the audience to yell that out. So I guess he has certain telekinetic powers too. So it's not just he comes back from the grave, but he has telekinetic powers too. So he can move stuff with his mind. So, I mean, that's a twist. It's not just a zombie. It can move shit with its mind too, because who else moved that damn thing? Fuck you and your cake. You want your cake bend over, I'll shove it up your fucking ass and glue your asshole shut with the fucking candle. Light it. There you go. There's your cherry on top. Candle sticking out of your ass. You can walk around and be a fucking Statue of Liberty impersonation in the parade for 4th of July, you old castrated fuck. Yeah, for those who see this, like, this is the DVD cover, really cool cover, and this is the second disc, and cool cover. But it's like, I don't really care about these characters. I don't care what happens to them. I don't care about their fate, their ordeals. I'm just waiting for stuff to happen. And that's why, like, of the stuff, like, I like Ted Danson, and I feel bad for him, and Leslie Nielsen's having a hoot as the villain, and like the next one, Stephen King's very interesting. Oh, there you go. Ooh, good 180 kill. Be a nice aesthetics where, okay, in this moment have a brief bit of pink showcased, and you see all the blue around. No, I don't have the Blu-ray of this. I'm fine with this. I'm fine with what I got. Like, these two are the last surviving ones, and I know nothing, really not much about them. One was Dancing Goofy with Ed Harris. The other, I don't know, what's his name, Steve? I don't fucking know his name. Don't care. I mean, really what I'm doing is marveling the lighting and some of the makeup effects on the corpse. That's pretty much it. I know coming up you don't have the head on the cake. There you go. I got my cake. And it's interesting with how they do the backgrounds. Like I said, this at least it has some interesting visual notes that they do on it. Very creative. And of course, I wish I could pause and read this stuff. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to pause and read it, and I'll tell you when I'm paused. I'll let you guys know. Dear Creep, I couldn't eat my dinner because I was nauseated. I couldn't sleep because I was terrified. When I did get to sleep, finally sometime after midnight, I woke up screaming with nightmares. All I could say is thank you. And more and more and more. David. What a bountiful bouquet of compliments. Thanks, Dave. By the way, did anyone ever tell you that you're a real masochist? But that's okay. We need all the readers we can get. The Creep. Dear Creep, all to say is, wow, I haven't seen such a bunch of nauseating rubbish since the days of Tales from the Crypt and the Haunt of Fear. I hope you'll do lots of stories about people being buried alive. They've always been my favorites. Here's hoping there'll always be a creep show. Ah, Brian, I think my heart just melted into a puddle of green slime. That is. Dear degenerate editor, how can you sleep at night knowing that you're warping young minds with such disgusting, godless trash like this? Okay, that cuts away. Can't read the rest of it. I guess if I get up close, like maybe I could read the rest of the ones on the larger page. I'd have to get up close to the TV. But I guess you guys could do that as well. So, alright, sorry. I am paused at 20 minutes and 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. Jordy Verrill. Stephen King. Apparently Stephen King didn't really like how his performance looked, so he's like bad at George Romero. Why do you have me act this way? I mean, look at I know George Romero's like, what's wrong with it, Steve? Stephen King, what's wrong with it? But I think, you know, when this came out, a lot of people, like critics, just completely made fun of Stephen King, the way he portrayed. But it works for this character and this kind of film, for what this is supposed to be, and it's it's memorable. And however the way you want it. Never touch meteor. Never do that. And then immediately put it in your mouth. This doesn't work. This is not the right way. Interesting to have the whole scene in angles like this. Which they do a better job of doing that than Battlefield Earth did. With these. The fact he's so gun-ho about $200. Oh, I got a meteor. So, $200 will pay off the bank loan? Doesn't seem like it would be that bad of a way to get that bank loan paid. Stop. I mean, now he's got this like fungus looking stuff on his fingers. And you broke it. There you go. Just ended the world for everybody. That's how I just love. I mean, I keep repeating it. I love the color scheme they got throughout most of this film. It just makes it so interesting to watch. Like the way the blue is really just pops out. The colors really pop out, and certain scene transitions to that nature. Like this, the green. Like, hey, where's the green coming from? Well, we just nice comic book aesthetic to it, and then that blue just really pops out. And he dumped into the soil, and now it's going to infect everything. And he screwed everything up. Of course, because he's an idiot. Meteor shit. Love that background with the red haze in the left part of the screen in the earlier shot. And pretty much is just a slow consuming of Jordy Verrill, and it's interesting to see the effects guys making more and more of this into, and have a WWF. Not many horror films have you WWF showcased. Yeah, I mean, they on purpose made him such a cartoon character. Like, what would a cartoon character be if he helped end the world by his stupidity? Even though he saw they looked like fungus on his fingers, he still keeps sucking on it. That's what makes me wonder, how it didn't infect him quicker. Like, you see how it's infected, like, all the outside so quick, but it's taking a lot longer to infect him. Maybe it's this, whatever this thing is, just takes longer for the change human cells other than compared to the outside world. And then this doctor, like, his Fu Manchu look and beard. I know there's a commentary for this. Yeah, George Romero and Tom Savini. I'll be honest, there's a part of me that wants to put on the commentary, but that would get copyright. It'd be nice to hear that again. This Fu Manchu guy just so excited to make Jordy elicit a shitload of pain from his gullets. Yeah, exactly. Stop sucking your fingers. That realization of what he did, the stuff, yep. And that's cool is that they knew the audience wasn't stupid enough. Okay, let's show that scene again. It's the audience go, oh yeah, he did put it, yep, there you go. Yep, he did put it in his mouth, and there you go. This sort of alien moss, however you want to put it. Definitely an interesting way to showcase a type of invasion in a way where this stuff just slowly infects you, but it's not a bacteria. Well, maybe that's what alien bacteria would be like. Yeah, pretty much anything he touches is gonna grow. Yeah, pretty much everything he's touching, and there you go. As it says here, the lonesome death. I mean, the title pretty much tells you what's going to happen to the guy. Now, obviously, he doesn't seem like a bad guy, and it's not like he did this on purpose. He's just not that well educated, so you feel a bit sorry for him. I get, but just get his ass drunk. Maybe he thinks he passes out, will wake up, be all better. I don't know. Surprised he didn't put fucking AIDS and all sorts of other shit in there. Yeah, he ain't succeeding. Kyle, the story told me he's gonna die. I mean, rather, there's not really any other character work on Jordy. I mean, yeah, he's growing. His grass is growing, and I don't mean his pubes. So he's just pretty much growing green pubes all over everything. Think about it. There it all. If Grizzly Adams met the Jolly Green Giant or something. They just see a guy just making every bad decision it could be, but like it tells you from the get-go that this is not a smart individual. And again, Stephen King is playing such again a cartoonish type of character that I mean, yeah, I feel sorry, but at the same time, it's like no, I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean. Is it supposed to be his psychosis taking over? But it's warning him, and it's like, is this like a sign from God? Or this is like psychosis kind of warning him not to do it, but then going, well, aren't I dead already? Which, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he didn't go into the water, would. I don't know. It definitely accelerated the process. I mean, maybe if he shaved and kept going, maybe he could survive and get some help or something, but. There you go. Yeah, but whether that was a sign from God or whatever warning him, yeah, I don't know what the details are, what that was supposed to be. I guess that's up to the viewer to decide. But I will say I felt sorry for the character. I mean, the way his voice is distorted. Let my luck be in just this once. Pretty much literally asking God, let me kill myself. And I mean, obviously for the rating, but you didn't see any blood, really any blood there, so it seemed like he really was turned to all grass. And as they warned, lots of rain, so it's going to affect the whole world pretty damn quick. Castle Rock, of course, town fixated in a lot of Stephen King material. Of course, the voodoo doll, nice little bit there where the coupon was taken out of the voodoo doll. That's for later. And so they tide you over. I love the music during this segment. And I like the cast. Yeah, Ted Danson. Which, I guess he's not proud of the film because he's never open to talking about this. I'm like, Ted Danson, look at some of the movies you've done. I mean, I think people like this more than, was it, Made in America with Whoopi Goldberg, or that point where you were with Whoopi Goldberg and as a joke you went out in blackface or whatever. And what was the thing you were in? Was it Did It Even with Dad with Macaulay Culkin? I mean, I think more people know this than that movie, so. And Leslie Nielsen, I mean, may he rest in peace. He's having so much fun. Just for a while, he was a serious actor, and then after Airplane, and then later on Naked Gun, people just thought of him as this comedic actor. The Naked Gun films, Mr. Magoo. What was that? The Spy Hard. Wrongfully Accused. By that point, people were so used to him as a comedic actor, they forgot that for the longest time he would play these serious roles. Even this, he's playing a real mean sumbitch. And Ted Danson does a good job, but Leslie Nielsen steals the show in this. This is why I do quite enjoy this one. So is Leslie Nielsen getting... He's a real piece of shit, but his wife or whatever, Galen Ross, from Dawn of the Dead, is cheating on him with Ted Danson. And then he's punished Galen Ross. And then tricks Ted Danson. God, back to the day when you had tape recorders. Remember that? Well, younger people won't, but yeah, tape recorder. I used to have a tape recorder. Very briefly, though. Because to be honest, I never used it much. Nowadays, you just record on your phone or something. But yeah, probably if he knew now what he knows later, he would have killed Leslie Nielsen's character. It's a very sadistic way of killing them. I mean, to have them buried in the sand and just more than likely will drown. I could hold my breath for a long time. But yeah, Ted Danson, of course, would be on the TV show Cheers. He was in a personal favorite of mine, 3 Men and a Baby. That's probably the biggest hit he was ever a part of, was 3 Men and a Baby. In the 90s, he would do a movie here and there. 3 Men and a Little Lady, Made in America with Whoopi Goldberg. Him and Whoopi were an item for a bit, for like 5 minutes. Like I said, Did It Even with Dad with Macaulay Culkin. Can't remember what else he was in. But he was one of those like TV actors that never really became a big star. Kind of sounded like Tom Selleck, which I mean, I love Runaway, and again, love Three Men and a Baby, but Tom Selleck really never became a big movie star either. He would pop up like in and out in some of these other movies, but you know, you had bombs like Her Alibi and other stuff. See, right then and there, should have smacked Leslie Nielsen, checked him, take the gun, and would have been fine. But, there you go. See, I thought this was a revenge tale that worked better compared with the first one. The both revenge tales, the both involve people dying and come back from the grave as corpses. Just as about Father's Day, the guy gets killed, he comes back, kills. Here, like that's the beginning, here is at the end. And I don't know, this one, it felt like you developed the characters more, liking Ted Danson and Leslie Nielsen as actors, so I'm more invested in it. Leslie having fun playing this evil guy. I did the music I really enjoyed in this segment. Has a great ending. I could hold my breath for a long time. It's like, what would you do in this situation? Again, you either get shot and die, or you go along with it and hope that somehow you get out of it. And Leslie Nelson going with that, yeah, nobody's going to hear you. And that's the show that's not blanked. The gun, that is. But I said, Leslie Nielsen, he's greatly missed. I mean, I didn't watch him much when he was the serious actor. And then after Airplane in 1980, it was slowly transitioned into more comedic roles. Like I said, in especially the Naked Gun films, among others. I would never want to know how it was to be buried in sand. Because it would be this assumption of, well, maybe you can move and wiggle around, but as he puts it, it's like being in cement, or wet cement. And it's like, well, what do you do? Do you try to use your mouth, but then it gets stuck in your mouth and all this stuff? And you could choke and or swallow enough sand that you die from that. And can you dig with your chin? I don't know if that would work. Yeah, I would never want to find out. But yeah, the documentary does go into great depths on how on the into the making of the film. Very well done by Michael Felsher. So, very well done documentary. I don't know where I put the. Yeah, I think I know where it's at. I'm not 100% positive, but I think I do. Hmm. As this is going on, let me just check real quick. But yeah, I think I know where it's at, but... And, I'll keep it going. I'll be right back. I'll be just over here, though. There's Galen Ross from Dawn of the Dead. Played the lead role in that, and she was also in the slasher film Madman. In her last moments. Just double check. Is it somewhere in here? Let's check real quick. Let's see. No. Okay, I have it put away somewhere. Alright. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I know where it's at. Sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure before I forget. But yeah, the Just Desserts by itself has some other features that are not on this set, so that was... I don't know if they released another Creepshow and if it has all the stuff in there, I don't know. And the way he puts it is that, baby, you have a chance if you learn to control your breath. So not only is he seeing this woman he loves going through it, but this realization is going to happen to him as well. Just what a sadistic plan. Like, you show this person he loves that she's going to die, and then you're going to go through the same thing. And then I guess even if he tried, there's a video camera on him, so maybe if he's trying and gets a bit further into digging himself out, he would just come back out and do it over again. It says he's got a video camera on him. So that's the thing, even if somehow they succeeded, he would just come out and probably shoot them anyway. So there'd be no way of winning. Because he's got the camera on them. I think that's why also, yeah, I like the build up to it. And just this, what would I do in their position feeling of doom. Like, what would I do in this position? I wouldn't know what the fuck to do. I wouldn't be able to hold my breath for a long time, so... I do like the music that bow down, bow down, bow down, down, bow down. I guess who did the music on this? Wow, it doesn't show who did the music? That's crazy. I think it's the same guy who did the music on Day of the Dead, I believe. I could be wrong on that. That pretty stylish place. Just sadistically laughing like a piece of shit he is. The character, that is. And then you notice he's got other like videotapes, so it makes you wonder like how many times has he done this? Because I swear he like takes, he's recording this. He has like other videotapes, so again it makes you wonder like how many more does he have of this? How many times has he done this before? So this is interesting. Like he's having fun watching, and now he's, I guess. You have to hold your breath there, Harry. You have to, gotta hold your breath. This is a really cool looking shot. Like we're putting him in a tank and making sure to be careful that he doesn't drown and stuff. And that's a very cool, unique shot. I guess the idea is their bodies washed away into the ocean. The current pulled him out. Yeah, he sees just how much this shit's just been filled up. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. The current pulled him out. Keep telling yourself that. I definitely think this is a much more successful venture into anthology compared to like John Carpenter's Body Bags, which I wasn't big on. I mean, I don't mind the first one, the gas station segment. The others, not so much. See, look at all these tapes. Like, is all these tapes just idea movies? Is there any of them that he taped that other killings he's done for different or variety reasons? Or am I looking too much into it and they're taped copies of, I don't know, Starts with the Motion Picture or something. Definitely got enough fucking security. But you have some visitors. No, I think there's a pretty damn good reason to get jumpy. And they're about to meet you first and foremost about that. They have a little bit of word to say to you. They're like, I need to talk to you. You some bitch. Yeah, you keep laughing all you want, but they're gonna have some fun with you. They're back and they are pissed. I think also it's nice because it's someone getting their just desserts, hence the documentary title. I mean, I guess you just say that like the Adrienne Barbeau in the next one kind of gets her just desserts. E.G. Marshall, his curmudgeon Scrooge type of unlikable, unfeeling character. He just is, just some may say Jordy Verrill for how stupid he was. This is up to the viewer. And someone wants to talk to you. He's like, what the fuck? But there you go. Who's out there? The bill collectors. It's Erwin R. Shyster. He wants the money. I like the choice of these angles. It just gives a bit more of a dynamic feel to the scene. It's not used in every single scene like that Battlefield Earth movie did, where like almost every scene is in these type of angles. I forget, it's like Dutch angles. That's the right term. There you go. And again, just good lighting the show, like the orange back there, and then the blue in the front. And Leslie Nielsen is a very good actor. I mean, maybe people don't really look into that because of all the stuff he did with Naked Gun, which he does a good job in those as well. Being very deadpan in his humor. Here, just from stare to his maniacal laughing. Completely panicked. There you go. I hold my breath for a long time. And there's that bit of fear there. Are you sure about that? Hope you're sure about that. You don't have to find out. But yeah, Creepshow 2, I don't mind. Okay, this is my favorite of the stories. I think for a lot of people, this would be their favorite, The Crate. I think just because the humor of a guy wanting to get rid of his wife, who's just such a piece of shit. And also just the monster. I think it's this monster that Tom Savini designed. It was a nice change of pace because Tom Savini was just mainly known at that point of doing kills. Friday the 13th, Maniac, The Burning, The Prowler, among other stuff. But this is his first chance and one of his few chances to work on monster work. Design monsters and stuff. I mean, he did some zombie work in Dawn of the Dead and later Day of the Dead, but again, to really create actual monsters and stuff, it was a change of pace for him. We got was a Fritz Weaver. I believe that's a lady who used to be married to George Romero, the short lady there. Well, she was at the beginning with George Romero in the newsroom in Dawn of the Dead. She was one of the stars of Martin, among others. And Adrienne Barbeau was just having a lot of fun as this lush, just mean harlot of a lush. Complete bitch of a character. And Hal Holbrook, just the guy you just feel sorry for, that just walked over by this lady. It doesn't say much. Henpet, everything in between. Hal Holbrook, he was in John Carpenter's The Fog. He was in a very underrated film called Rituals, which was a Canadian thriller, a bit like Deliverance. Him and a few doctors go out into the woods, the forest, on a vacation, and there's a crazed mountain man hunting them down one by one. It plays like Deliverance, but it's to be a really good film. Rituals, underrated movie, deserves more recognition. I like it more than Deliverance. That's just me. And Adrienne Barbeau, speaking of which, she was also in John Carpenter's The Fog. So a lot of John Carpenter's The Fog type of people. Tom Atkins, Hal Holbrook, Adrienne Barbeau. No Jamie Lee Curtis, but a lot of the other people in there. But yeah, Adrienne Barbeau did a great job in The Fog. She was also in Swamp Thing. See, the other thing, Adrienne Barbeau, she worked with John Carpenter, Wes Craven, George Romero here. Worked with a lot of the horror greats. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Swamp Thing, but The Fog and this one are pretty damn good. Just, I'm feeling sorry for Hal Holbrook. But I guess I should talk about George Romero as is going. I mean, George Romero sadly is no longer with us too, and it's a damn shame. Seemed like a really nice guy, great director. I'm not a Night of the Living Dead fan as others people are, but I absolutely adore Dawn of the Dead. Like, Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite films of the 70s. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's one of my favorite films of all time in general. I absolutely adore and love Dawn of the Dead. It's my favorite Romero film. I love the comic book action style mixed in with the ball location, mixed in with the character work and cast, especially Ken Foray. So much fun. I love this dream sequence where he pulls out this like Dirty Harry type of gun. Nice headshot too by Tom Savini. I think that light is also symbolized, hey people, it's a dream. And just how everyone's applauds. So this crazy daydream, like, oh, thank you, thank you. That's a black comedy, dark comedy that I do think is sincerely funny. And of course, she just completely tarnishes him vocally again. Tar and feathers him vocally. But George Romero, I mean, Dawn of the Dead, I love. I'm not much a fan of Martin. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Same with the Crazies. You know, I actually prefer the remake to the Crazies. But I love Dawn of the Dead. I love Day of the Dead. This is a really good one. I really do like Monty Shines. And that's the thing, like, Night Riders I thought was very boring. So, like, 82, like, to the 90s, again, like, I like Monty Shines. Dark Calf I could watch, and that didn't do well. I remember there was a time starting in the 90s where he went to Hollywood to, I just hopefully find richer avenues in terms of getting bigger movies made. I believe he was close to getting The Mummy, and that didn't work out. There's other projects that was close to getting, that didn't work out. I think, in retrospect, George Romero wish he never did that. Like, he could have stayed in Pittsburgh or whatever, and maybe done smaller films, and maybe would have had more Romero movies, but it's a lot of, from what I understand, he writes a script, or script goes through all these meetings, and then nothing ever comes of it. So it felt like a lot of years on projects that never went to any fruition. And then you had like Land of the Dead, which was alright at best. I could watch Land of the Dead. I don't hate the film. It's okay. Diary of the Dead, I think, is a piece of shit. Survival of the Dead, I think, is a piece of shit. Bruiser, I didn't hate it like other people did, but pretty indifferent. Yeah, I didn't hate it like other people did. I'm like, yeah. I've honestly seen worse. I really have. Try Feeders, Feeders 2, Treasure Chest of Horrors, Time Machine Found a Yard Sale, Neil Breen movies. I've seen much worse, but it's not a great movie. And what was his last film? Was Survival of the Dead, which is one of his worst. Just god awful stuff, and just sad. I mean, he seemed like a nice guy. Seemed very friendly in interviews and commentaries. No one really had anything bad to say about him. Just a shame. And we've lost, George Romero, we lost Toby Hooper, we lost Wes Craven, we lost Larry Cohen, we lost Stuart Gordon. I mean, yeah, George, Wes, Toby, Stuart Gordon, Larry Cohen. John Carpenter's the last guy left, if you think about it. So I would say David Cronenberg, I mean, yeah, I guess so as well, but of like the main, like, strictly horror type of guys, like, John Carpenter's like the last one, man. The last one. And again, more of that light in the background, the showcase another daydream. Go back to normal lighting. I think it's kind of this darkly humorous, like, he's this nice, very shy, almost husband, and just these murderous thoughts. I guess also like Tom Savini, like, being a big part of this. I mean, this is a guy that was in Vietnam as a photographer, and I think wanted to work on Night of the Living Dead, but couldn't, and such. So got with Dawn of the Dead. again, Dawn of the Dead, 78, Friday the 13th, 1980, brought him to the stratosphere of effects guys saying, we need you, and he got work all the time. Again, Friday the 13th was the Burning, the Prowler, Maniac, Friday the 13th Part 4 in 84. The list goes on, so... He would work with Joseph Zito in a few action films. Red Scorpion, he did a few little bits. I think Invasion USA, which I think he even mentioned that we didn't have really much to do. It was just pretty much squibs and stuff. But I just like Joseph Zito's like, hey, I want to give you a job and give you some money. I know at one point, like, he wanted to be a director. He wanted to do Graveyard Shift, and then that didn't work out. But then ultimately got to direct the 1990 Night of the Living Dead, which I forget the issues that. I know he's going through like a divorce and stuff at the time, so it wasn't really a great time in his life. But and then also when you look at the film, it's not as bloody as you think you would be scene from a Tom Savini movie, but I like the remake. I actually like the remake more than the original because I think the acting is stronger. I think the ending is a bit more satisfying, and I don't know. But yeah, with this segment, like I said, I like the stuff with Hal Holbrook, and this monster is a really cool looking. Why would you see those eyes and immediately put your arm in there? Like, why? They say, oh, there's a stereotypical fucking thing. Let me put my arm in there. I'm like, why? You got a death wish? And it's a cool looking design. I think the nickname was Fluffy. And from what I understand, Tom Savini had asked Rob Bottin how, because he was working on The Thing and had done The Howling, how this kind of stuff works with monster and such. It's a cool looking monster. I like the drool as well. It's like a demonic version of baboon. I don't know, like a demon fucked a baboon and came up with this thing. Well, he's hungry. You just gave him a snack. Now he had the snack, and he could have left the crate, but I guess he likes living there. I'm laughing because this guy's like, what the fuck's going on? Dropped his damn soda and stuff. Does he get too curious and then he just killed himself? I can't remember. This has been a while since I've seen this film. That actor looks familiar too. I'd have to look at the credits to see his name. The guy with the glasses who plays Charlie. I think that's the character's name. I know this sounds stupid, but that's just a lightning strike of nostalgia seeing the water fountain. Which I know is stupid because they're still at stores. Some stores, not all stores, but I just remember at school drinking a lot at the water fountain, wanting to stay hydrated. No, maybe this actor, I'm thinking of someone else he's reminding me of. It's not him, but he reminds me of Charles Martin Smith from Starman, and he would direct 50-50. It's not him, but he reminds me a little bit about him. Like, with glasses. And it's not him, but it reminds me a bit. The guy again, you look him up, Charles Martin Smith, he was in Starman and other stuff. Curiosity kills the cat, and you're on your last life. Unless he cleaned everything up. Oh yeah, there's the blood. Of course, he thinks he did it. Well, what do you expect? You think you're gonna talk about a monster? Oh, the crate's gone. Damn, he must love his crate. He took the fucking crate with him, like a suitcase. Oh, he went back under the stairs. Okay, if I see a bunch of fucking blood there, you know what I'm gonna do? Go to the cops. Why do you need the flashlight, man? Get the fuck out of Dodge. It's called fuck this. It's called save ass. That's what you have the plan. Save ass. You run like a motherfucker and you don't get a cop. There you go. Operation Save Ass. Okay, if I see a bloody shoe and all this blood, why would I go towards with a fucking what does he have in his hand? A what is it? A wrench? He must have a death wish. Like, what's the point? I mean, take the picture, it'll last longer. Just get the fuck out of there. Okay, if I see that, I'm gone. In fact, not only am I gone, I'm leaving the university. I'm leaving the school. I'm transferring across the fucking country. Why do you want the shoe? I want to measure the bite marks. Oh my god, man. Gives a fuck. Okay, why are you standing there now? You got the shoe. Now why are you standing there? You got your shoe. There you go. Ooh. And cool looking creature. I do like the look of him. Out there you go. I keep repeating this, but I love the way the color scheme, and they had to do that. Ooh, nice makeup effect there. Ooh, nice there too on the face. The color scheme is such an important character on its own for this. Of course, nowadays you would have a phone, you just record the whole thing, and there's the evidence. But well, pretty much Hal Holbrook's going to try to fix two problems in one. Get rid of this lady. Although, would people just be asking questions why she disappeared? You would think that would come up. But I guess if they have no evidence, or they think, I guess she left me, if there's no evidence of, they can't really do anything. Yeah, he definitely measures bite marks up close and personal. Yeah, wash your face too. Get that blood off. Also, some nice scene transitions, like the turn of the page, like a comic book. I don't know why the sequels didn't really keep with this aesthetic of the lighting and things of that nature. Like Creepshow 2, I don't mind it, but Chief Woodenhead has some fun stuff. I don't mind the look of the Native American, the statue thing. I do like some of the lines of the villains. You see this hair? This hair's going to be paid and laid. I don't mind it killing the bad guys that fucked up this poor old man, played by I think George Kennedy. The raft is definitely the most popular story of that. I think it's the thing people remember the most. It does have some cool death scenes, although the acting is really shitty in that. The acting really sucks in that, and you don't care about the characters. But and the monster itself, it does look like just a fucking garbage bag. I know it's supposed to be an oil slick, but it's also alive. It does look kind of like a garbage bag, though. It does look pretty cheap, in my opinion. But I understand, people, if they saw that when they were a kid, they got creeped out by it. Mainly with the death scenes, like the parts of being pulled and his leg is wishbone, so it's right next to the guy's face. Or like the woman that she was lying on the raft and her face is like peeling off. Then that fucking idiot, I beat you, and then the thing jumps on him. It's definitely an ending people remember. Like you think he made it, it jumps. Gotcha, bitch. And the third story, The Hitchhiker, I know a lot of people liked it. Thanks for the ride, lady. It just was never for me. Never for me. It's still better than anything Creepshow 3, but it's like, if there's 3 stories, the wraparound doesn't seem as fun as the one in this. And I don't know. Nothing really. I don't mind Creepshow 2. Creepshow 2 I like. Creepshow 2. But nowhere near up to the level of this one. Or some of the other anthologies I mentioned, like Tales from the Hood and Cat's Eye and so forth. I don't know if it's just sleeping or it's in a food coma or what, this monster. Damn, maybe he's in a food coma. I don't know. Arctic Expedition. Is that Wilma's getting ready to get her just desserts? Well, in a little bit. Dean's trying to get 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm gonna clean this thing so Wilma will get here and then fuck up her day. She's such a loudmouth lush in this. And sadly, after the mid-late 80s, you didn't see a whole lot of Adrienne Barbeau, it seemed. I mean, at this time it was like The Fog, Escape from New York, Swamp Thing, this movie. After that, like I said, you didn't really see her much of anywhere else. So I'm reading the letter she's reading. But let's see, looking through this, like Adrienne Barbeau, I wanted to look what she's done recently. Let's see. She had a very brief role in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. She was in Two Evil Eyes, 1990. Fatherhood in 1993 with Patrick Swayze. A lot of times she would do voice work, like mainframe computer voice in Demolition Man, Judge Dredd, I guess. She was in Argo. Forgot about that, the Ben Affleck film. Yeah, not a whole lot that, sounds familiar. Go figure, though. Let's see. Father's Day, Something That Tied You Over, and They're Creeping Up on You are original stories Stephen King wrote for the film. Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill is based on King's short story Weeds. The Trait is based on the short story of the same name. Most of the film was shot in an empty all-girls school located outside Greensburg, Pennsylvania. The school was converted into a film studio, and the episodes Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill, They're Creeping Up on You, as well as the prologue and epilogue, were filmed in their entirety at the former school. Filming took place at the Greensburg location through 1981. Most of the interior and exterior shots for the university sequences in this segment were filmed at Carnegie Mellon University. The backyard party was filmed in Romero's own backyard at his former residence in Shadyside, Pennsylvania. Something to Tide You Over was filmed on location at Island Beach State Park, Berkeley Township, New Jersey. I guess in 2015, Ted Danson did talk about the film. They made a little aquarium tank. I got in a wetsuit, climbed in, and somebody would reach down with an oxygen tank ventilator thingy, and I breathe. Then they take that out. There was a yoke made out of it. I don't know, wood or fake sand, so it looked like my head was buried in the sand underwater. Okay, so he did talk about it. I haven't really seen any on-camera interviews, but I guess a written interview. I know Tales from the Dark Side, they wanted to make it Creepshow, the TV show, but Warner Bros. Held the rights to the name, so they had to change it to Tales from the Dark Side. Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, as people would say, is the real Creepshow 3 because of that. Tourist Entertainment, rights holders of the original Creepshow, licensed the rights to Jace Hall to produce Creepshow Raw, a web series based on the original film. Pilot episode was wrapped on July 30th. Featured Michael Madsen. No other episodes have been produced. Another Creepshow TV series was announced in July 2018, produced by Dre Nicotero, streamed on Shudder. So I guess it had 3 seasons. So Creepshow 2 was supposed to have 5 stories, much like the first film, but cut from the film due to the film's budget. Cat from Hell will later be used in Tales from the Dark Side. Pinfall, that was a story involving a bowling alley. Let's see, imagine if the monster just was watching this and goes, I don't want to eat her. She's your problem. You deal with it. That would be hilarious if the monster just said, I'm not going to eat her. You deal with it. Tough titty. Yeah, the unrealized projects of George Romero. The Stand, he wanted to do, but then when it became a TV miniseries, he's like, I don't want to do that. Same with the Salem's Lot, wanted to do a movie. He found it would be a TV miniseries and not a feature film. Copperhead, based on the Marvel Comics character, but the project was ultimately canceled due to lack of funds. The Mummy. 1984, George Romero wrote a draft for the film that Universal turned down for being too dark. Of course, Resident Evil, which is supposed to be a documentary being made on that. Yeah. I don't know when that's supposed to be released, though. Just says upcoming. Ah, there you go. There's the monster. Just tell her to call you Billy. Other films, From a Buick 8. Studio was unable to get financing for the film, and the Romero was eventually replaced by Tobe Hooper. That didn't get made, and as of 2022, the film is in development hell. So, there's other projects. I know there's one called Apartment. Something about an apartment that was alive and would eat people. Let me see if I could find. Let me see. Sorry about this, folks. I have to look it up. I'm bad typing on my phone. Trying to see if I can find it. Trying to find the title of this. I remember seeing like a advertisement for it. Yeah, here you go. This is Joe Stillman, and I wanted to mention this. So Joe Stillman wrote an article. He worked on Creepshow. I continued to write sped screenplays, hoping for a break, but not writing anything good enough to create it. At some point, I got back in touch with George Romero to let him know what I was up to and send him one of my strips. It was based on that George hired me to write the screenplay for a story he had the rights for, Apartment Living. It was about an apartment building in Florida erected over the Fountain of Youth, which comes to life. It was funny and creepy. Jim Baffico, an actor who played a cop in Dawn of the Dead, was the producer who found the $3 million to make the movie. There was a catch. Production had to begin by a certain fixed date. That was the reason George didn't write the screenplay himself. He was busy working on Monty Shines. I thought Apartment Living would be my ticket out of my tiny New York apartment, but Monty Shines had a problem with his title star. It didn't really hit their cues. Monty's don't. And the production went way over schedule, crashing into our start date and making the $3 million budget go away. Apartment Living never got made. Apartment Living by... And I guess he actually has a screenplay here. So, I guess if people want to read the screenplay, it's 110 pages. There you go. JoelStillman.com for those who want to read that screenplay. So, just the way it is. I'd be curious. I would have been curious to see what that was like. It's supposed to be funny. I mean, if this was after Monty Shines, this probably would have been for release in '89 or so. That would have been cool to see. Sadly, that was not the case. That really would have been neat to see. It really would. But it is what it is. You did it. But Sally did get out, and who knows what happened next. So, there you go. Oh, shit. Go to pump you up. They're creeping up on you. Some people don't like this segment. I do. I've always liked it because cockroaches I find creepy. I find them creepy. I know how this guy feels from time to time. Because you live out in the middle of nowhere, that does happen. Then you live out in the middle of nowhere, especially here in Texas. It's just bound to happen. So I know the feeling of the guy. I thought E.G. Marshall did a good job playing this hateful sumbitch. And I thought the way to utilize the cockroaches is very eerie and creepy and obviously very rich germaphobe. This is pretty much if Ebenezer Scrooge never was visited by the three ghosts. Now I'm thinking of like, imagine if Robot Chicken did this story, but it was Scrooge McDuck. Like Scrooge McDuck being this rich germaphobe that doesn't want these, if it's not cockroaches, but whatever the case may be, and yeah, the same music, the same aesthetic. That'd actually be a pretty funny Robot Chicken thing. Scrooge McDuck is saying the same lines that E.G. Marshall is saying. Upson Pratt. And look at, I mean, you just see just how completely barren this whole place is. Just everything white. And on a production value idea, why? Because the bugs will look so much more prominent against that white background. Again, a real piece of work. He just... So a guy ended his life and he didn't give a shit. It's like, hey, we don't have to offer him money anymore. There you go. I'm guessing it was like a little vacuum. They just get it in there. And probably maybe just water, or I don't know what they spray on it. God, they're everywhere now. Ah, that's the woman whose husband died. I think his big main concern is, who the hell gave you this number? Whoever they are, they're fired. I see E.G. Marshall just does a good job playing this episode. And he did a good job in the original 12 Angry Men. After that was the fucking play me a fiddle type of thing. I did what an asshole. But I guess if you say, you know, you develop this character being such an ass, then you see him just come up and maybe as a collective group, you kind of go, yeah. How many men have you killed? Only the stupid ones. Only the ones who, if you'll pardon expression, fucked up. Well, I can't fire him, can I? Fucking hell. Who gave you this number? My husband. Well, I can't fire him, can I? Now, there's no explanation as to why this happens. It just does. But I guess you could say that for anything. Like, where did this monster in the crate come from? Why are these bugs doing this? Some people, I wonder if there are people that take the issues because there is no reason, like there is no explanation. But yeah, definitely like I said, if Ebenezer Scrooge had not been visited by those three ghosts of Christmas past, present, future, this would have been what he is grown up. I mean, it doesn't even seem like, what does he do to enjoy? Like, he's eating, he's got his jukebox, and his computer is just the stocks. But, like, what does he actually do to enjoy? And it's just one of those, again, because of the subject matter, just a lot of ew, that kind of reaction. They creep up on you. Like, you find stuff in the cereal. Yeah, right here. It's like, ew. There you go, roach in the damn thing. Maybe it's time to go outside and, I don't know, go to McDonald's or something. And that's really what this is, just a repeated assortment of EU moments that make your skin crawl. I think this actor was in Dawn of the Dead. I want to say he's the same guy who is talking with the other guy while the news cameras are filming. Like, he's talking to the guy, and the other guy is saying, "The people they kill get up and kill." And he's the guy's like, "Who's the fucking guy talking on the air? Get the idiot off the air." You know? And he's trying to do the interview with the other guy. I think that's him. Which would make sense, just George Romero. And again, if he filmed around Pittsburgh in that area. Do it first. Do it now. Yes, sir. Right now. This is a really funny movie with some really icky moments and good makeup effects and a solid cast. It's wise up there as the best of the horror anthologies. Up there in the foreground, you see little Roach more so, which, again, a reason why they made everything white to make them stick out the best as they can. So they're not hidden amongst the furniture or carpet or any other grating. Out there's we see one in the background there. I was talking. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Ugh. Again. And you're like, okay, some of them had to die there. There's no way. I mean, he's literally stepping on some of them. Not that I care, just good riddance, but at the same time, I'm like, if they're leaving me alone, then fine. Just leave me the fuck alone, and you can live whatever life you wanna. Yeah, but I don't know if you could say no animals were harmed during the making of this movie. Just like when he's stepping on them, it did look like, okay, some of them are running around. Don't think they're on the living. And that's the thing, if he would treat people with respect and treated people with decency, maybe they would have listened, but now they're ignoring him. Now you could just leave the apartment, but of course he doesn't want to do that. God, just the amount showcase in there. So goddamn. And then he traps himself in the one area he shouldn't. And then comes to find out this is the worst place to be. Yeah, right here. Yeah, that rippling effect, man. It's simple, but sells you the illusion until the unveiling. Oh, shit. It's like the worst place to be. Ugh, it still gives me the heebie-jeebies. So it's like God or some, I don't know, whoever, whatever, sent some kind of curse onto him for this to happen. The power, yeah. And also that great reveal when it's in his body and just... Does he call him like a haunty bastard? Buzz got your tongue? Yeah, more so. That's a good fake E.G. Marshall body. That's very well done makeup effects wise. And they have the behind the scenes. I remember when they did this scene and people were like, oh my god, you know. I don't like Tom Savini trying to handle it either, and I don't blame him. But man. See, now they're all in his room. But there you go. I wonder if they've ever done a comic book or Creepshow. They must have. They must have done a comic book or Creepshow, like a full-blown comic or Creepshow that people could read and look through. There has to be. If not, that is surprising, but that seems like something that would happen. Have the same advertisement, stuff of that. Here's Tom Savini, the garbage man with the headphones. Tom Savini himself. Which I always thought was actually a decent actor. I love the little bit he has with the guy where he's like mocking him. It's a comic book! I wish we could have seen more of these two guys, actually. X-ray glasses don't work, man. Because they seem natural with each other. Oh, somebody already sent for it. Yeah, we can't get that. Tired of getting sand kicked in your face. Like, Tezevich actually not a bad actor. Like I said, in Grindhouse he was good. Planet Terror. From Dusk Till Dawn at Sex Machine. Here we find out what happened with the voodoo doll. There you go. Teach him to throw away comic books. There you go. Respect comic books, kids. So ideas, maybe this was meant to be more practical with the puppetry, but then they went with the animation, which works. So I mean, Hal Holbrook, Adrienne Barbeau, Leslie Nielsen, E.G. Marshall, Ted Danson, Ed Harris, Stephen King. Got Galen Ross there. Yeah, pretty damn good cast. Tom Savini, Garbage Man number 2. Director, George Romero. Original screenplay, Stephen King. Michael Gornick, I think he did the sequel. Yeah, John Harrison, there you go. John Harrison did the music. Did a really good job. I think he did the music for Day of the Dead as well. So I'm just looking at the credits. Yeah, great job on it. Just really enjoyed watching this film again. Rest in peace to George Romero, Hal Holbrook, some of these other guys, E.G. Marshall, and more. So, but their work lives on. Again, rest in peace, George. Seemed like a nice guy, good, talented director, and would love to have seen his Resident Evil movie. Might not have been faithful to the game, but would have been better to welcome to Raccoon City, I would guarantee it. So, curious about that documentary whenever that comes out. Thank you once again, Johnny. Take care, everyone, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.